Hi, thank you for joining Hawaii Wellness Network, and we have a special guest today. We're going to talk about diabetes, and that is actually a very big topic in Hawaii. A lot of people suffer from that illness, and Julie actually wrote a book on diabetes. And so I'd like to, Julie Wanner.
Yes, Julie Wanner here.
Yes.
Hi everyone. It's great to be able to talk about my book. It's titled Diabetes Can Be Sweet Once You Bury It. And really in the state of Hawaii we have an epidemic of diabetes. We have about 113,000 that have diabetes, and out of 113, about 28,000 that don't even know they have it, haven't actually officially been diagnosed. So it's definitely a hot topic right now, day after Thanksgiving, and what I like to do is teach an education that's entertaining but also kind of fun and easy to understand as well.
So would you like to talk about your background? And we spoke when your book was actually in our magazine last issue, so we spoke a little bit about how that you actually have diabetes, which is why you really got through some things and some challenges, and you wanted to help other people. It's how you wrote your book and what it's
right about. Right. Oh my goodness, lucky to be alive. When I was 13, I had a vaccine, and I got type 1 diabetes from the vaccine, and almost died, and decided at that young age to search out everything I could get my hands on to find out about diabetes so I could live healthy. And along the way I always decided I was going to write a book so I could help others and really save lives. And to me, especially with type 1 diabetes, it's not a death sentence. You can live healthy, and there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle I've put together.
So do you want to talk about how you have type 1 or type 2?
Type 1, which is a different disease from type 2. Type 1 is what they call juvenile diabetes. When you're very young, you get that. Whereas type 2 is considered adult onset. However, now we have children young as 6 years old getting type 2, which is basically a lifestyle change that needs to happen in order to prevent type 2 diabetes.
And what health issues did you experience when you first found out that you had
it? The symptoms of diabetes
a lot of things
are, which is really important to watch for, would be very, very thirsty, frequent urination, weight loss. I was going out for track. I was about 100 pounds, but I got down to 89 pounds, and very, very fatigued, tired, like you can hardly get out of bed.
So you went to doctors to try to...
So what happened was we were studying diabetes in my health class, and I told my teacher, I've got diabetes. And he said, no, Julie, I think you've just been studying too hard. And I said, no, I've definitely got this. And he's like, well, does it run in your family? I go, no. Do you don't even need sugar. You're going out for track. And I said, no, but I have this. And he thought, no, absolutely not. Well, it got so bad, my mom took me to the doctor, and I was officially diagnosed with type 1 diabetes with a blood glucose of over 600. So,
and what is our glucose levels?
Normal range is about 80 to 120.
Wow.
So it was extremely high, and it was just unbelievable because I was like the health nut in the family. I'm the one that had oatmeal for breakfast, the one that didn't eat sugar, didn't have a cavity, running all the time, and so my parents were like in shock.
So you have to take insulin.
So I have to take insulin. I take a small amount. I've done a lot of detoxing, and I'm really on a pretty healthy path right now. So I think there's a lot of things that can happen as far as regenerating the pancreas. And everyone that has type 1 diabetes, it's basically an individual situation as to what the cause is and what their health plan is for it.
So how often do you have to check your blood? So you prick a finger and pull your blood out?
Yes, I do the finger, and I do it always in the morning and in the evening and before I eat, and then I adjust my own insulin.
So do you take insulin with you?
I carry insulin and my glucose meter, everything with me.
But always. You can probably tell.
And I can tell. Because we didn't have
or...
glucose testing when I was diagnosed. We had to know, unfortunately they did urine testing back then, which wasn't accurate. So now everybody's got it easy.
So you actually were so inspired. You wrote a book.
Yes.
You also are trained, and you work with people on nutrition.
Right.
And what is your training or background?
I did naturopathic in the nutritional part, and basically it's the blood type and metabolic profiling. And I especially specialize in the diabetes part because that's really my passion, is to help people with diabetes. So I do that part. I'm also a certified medical assistant. So I've worked and done patient education before.
So this experience actually inspired you to do what you do for a living
Yes,
now.
yes. So it's my passion. It always will be, because there's so many myths about diabetes, and so many like fear-related educational systems out there, which I'm totally against, because when we have fear, we really can't learn. It just blocks us. Where if we have faith and we know that, yes, we can live a healthy life, then we're willing to learn. And I really talk about in the book about burying diabetes, which is not denial, but it's actually getting through the process of the mental part of it, which is never covered, the emotional mental part. Usually people are sent home from their doctor and they're called the sick diabetic, and by the time they see me, they're in tears, and we're talking for about 2 hours until they've actually mentally buried it, and then we can start the educational process of what they need to do, the action plan.
So a lot of times I'll find you after they've been frustrated
Yes.
and not getting the answers.
Right, they don't
really
have the
match.
answers, and the emotional part is devastating. There's a diabetic label. We continually call people a sick diabetic, or, oh my God, they ate too much sugar, and there's a lot of different myths out there. And so what happens is that person is kind of mentally, they're not able, they feel shameful, they feel unloved, they feel like, people think of me differently, like a disease. And they're not a disease, they're a special person. You are a special person. It's just an unfortunate health condition that needs to be healed by the body itself.
So if someone finds out they have diabetes and they read their book and they want to work with you, and we talked a lot about nutrition,
Right.
So they would meet with you and you would ask them about their lifestyle and do an analysis and then
Yes,
put them on
yes,
a program?
right, and the right foods and all of that. They would continue to see their doctor, any kind of medication changes, insulin or anything, they would see their doctor on. And then the exercise, they would want to check with their doctor before exercising, but we would need to put everything together, because all of these are pieces to the puzzle. It's a lifestyle, and I see a lot of people that are just wanting to prevent type 2 diabetes, or they're in the military, they're physically fit, they got to pass their PT, but they're not healthy, which means that they need the right foods and the right nutrition in order to be able to live a long life. So.
Great. And do you want to, I'm curious about what the top 3 myths are that people come to you with the questions. What are the top 3 that you think a lot of people ask you about or have the biggest concerns about, especially in Hawaii?
Oh, wow. First one is, I'm not going to live a long life. My life is over. That's it, which is not true. I got type 1 diabetes over 30-something plus years ago,
Wow.
and I have no complications, and I'm healthier, my doctor tells me, than most people that don't have diabetes. So, in fact, I outlived my family doctor. He passed away from cancer, and I outlived him and many people. So that is a myth. That really is. I look at it as diabetes as not a disability, but the ability to move forward and live very, very healthy and happy life. And I would say the second myth is that, which is interesting, is that you just can't do anything. You can't, you hear people say, well, I can't do that because I'm a diabetic, or I can't have, dark chocolate because I'm a diabetic. That's not true. It's all in the ingredients that you're eating. You can have dark chocolate. It's not, you should eat the way you would eat even if you didn't have diabetes, and that's what I teach. So that is totally a myth. Another one is when they tell someone, well, you just need to go and exercise and it will bring the blood sugar down. Not if it's high. You can't just go exercise. If you don't have enough insulin in the body, your blood sugar will actually go higher. So that is a myth. That is very dangerous. If the person's blood sugar is 200 and they need to take an insulin shot, going and working out is only going to increase the glucose.
And telling someone like that when there's so many different people that might be perfect for them, but not for the other 9 out of 10 people that have diabetes.
Right.
I mean, everybody's body's going to react differently.
Exactly. And so it's individualized, always individualized. We're all different. We all have different lifestyles. What may stress one person is not a stress to another person. So you really have to take a look at that, and I think that's important. And so when I sit down with a new client, we go through that. What is their lifestyle like? What is the stress? What's the family life like? What do they enjoy? What are the foods they like? So I make it fun because I'm looking at the future for them, a relationship, not just a one-time we get together and adios. Instead, it's a relationship I gain with them.
So you cook a lot at home, and
I
do.
I do a lot of
everybody else.
I do a lot with like the farmers market, and I try to put things together like smoothies and things that are kind of unique, I guess, in a way. And so it's always healthy to me. It's nothing that I would change tomorrow if I didn't have diabetes. That's what I love.
Right.
I get my dark chocolate.
Keeps you healthy.
Yes, I love the way I eat, which is another, I guess, a myth is I'm always asked, well, Julie, what if tomorrow you were healed and you could just go crazy and, go out and eat whatever you want? Would you do it? And what would you eat? And I'm like, no. I love what I eat. I love macadamia nuts. I love the dark chocolate. I love salads. I mean, I love all the foods I eat.
And even people, that have a normal insulin and pancreas like myself, if I do choose, I think we all do that. You go out and eat something that you shouldn't. And like a soda or something like that.
Right.
I get a migraine headache.
I'd be sick. I'd be hospitalized.
Right. So
take me to the fast food place.
We have to watch it too. I mean, everybody that's normal, because if you are eating healthy and occasionally once a year I do the fast food restaurant, which I shouldn't, and I'm in a pinch, and then I'm not feeling so well for a few days.
Oh no,
So
I
it
will
affects
not
me too.
feel good. So.
Yeah. So I think it's everybody, if they're eating healthy, they should
It
watch
is.
it.
It is. I'm so sensitive that when I was like younger, probably about 19 years old, I went to a party, and I eat my own food before I go. But there was a few vegetable choice. I thought, oh, okay, that's good. And then one of my friends said, well, why don't you have some Doritos? And I go, I don't really eat those. Oh, come on, Julie, just one chip. I thought, fine, I had a few carrots, I had some, broccoli, I'll have one chip. One chip, I was very sick.
And it was
I had to go to I was very sick. I mean, one Dorito chip, and I just was like, oh my God. So it was a matter of being detoxed for so long. I didn't realize how healthy I was until that happened.
That's great. Well, that probably made you feel good.
So
And you think twice about eating.
So after that, anytime I see the chips or anything, I'm like, oh gosh, no. And I, when I walk the aisles during Halloween, it makes me nauseated to smell the sugar, and there's, some type of chemical. I smell all the not the healthy ingredients. I would say they're definitely, a lot of sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and all of that. So.
Do you want to talk? We've talked about this in the past about there is a huge myth about sugar, and if diabetics and other people should not be having regular sugar, they should use the alternatives like Sweet and Low and NutraSweet and the Splenda with the aspartame and things like that. So they're doing that because they think, oh, it's okay for diabetics. Do you want to go over that?
Oh,
a little bit?
Of course.
Yeah,
I love this part.
That's a big.
I love this part.
And there is some natural
Right,
forms
right.
of sugar that you don't actually
Right.
go. What is it on the?
Glycemic index is what you're
you don't
looking
go
at.
up and down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So first of all, please don't do the saccharin or the aspartame or the Splenda, which is the chlorinated sugar. Don't do any of those. Please don't. Obviously, if your blood sugar is low, I've got to say you're going to have some sugar. I don't want you passing out. But when you are typically having a sweetener, you really want to go with stevia. It's a great one. It doesn't raise the blood sugar. It's got a lot of health benefits. So stevia is what I recommend really for everyone. I really can't say enough about that one.
And they actually have flavored stevia.
They
I
do,
found in the
they
health food
do.
store there's cinnamon and
Yes,
apple, and
yes.
and they're liquid, and you
Yes.
can actually put them in recipes.
Yes. So those are good to utilize, and you just want to be aware of, when you're substituting the real sugar, what's actually in that. And again, checking labels and education is really important, so you're not putting bad things in your body and you're thinking they're good.
Right, because this is processed.
It's processed, and again, our body is, it knows how to utilize the correct nutrients as long as it's given the correct nutrients.
So it's probably better to have natural forms of
Yes.
sugar inside of like an apple or a piece of fruit.
Right, and those again are still sugar, so you have to manage the diabetes, the insulin, and all of that because they're still going to break down to sugar.
What about gluten? You're hearing a lot about gluten. Can people with diabetes have gluten? Or?
They really shouldn't. I don't recommend it. The wheat is really hard with the blood sugars. There's a lot of issues with those, so it's better if you substitute that out.
Because there's a lot of products out
right.
there.
You got to be careful. But when you see gluten free, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's really becoming more popular.
It's a good thing because I've never had a problem with gluten, but the wheat I am sensitive to, so I really try to stay away from that.
Well, great. And do you have any? I've also heard about agave. That's a natural form of, and it almost tastes like a honey. It's a liquid form. Is that?
That one's a good one.
But stevia is the best.
But stevia is the best because that one is not going to raise the blood sugar, no matter what. And so, the only time you don't want to take the stevia is if you're ready to pass out because you're going to pass out. It's not going to raise your blood sugar at all. So, then you need to have like a juice with you, sugar packets, something that's going to raise it. Because insulin is a hormone and it lowers the blood sugar.
And you can work with someone and
yes.
setting a program together.
Right.
Are you going to have any classes or workshops or partnering with other doctors?
I think in 2013 that would be the best time for all of that to take place, and I think that anyone that's interested in contacting me that in regards to my consulting and partnering up, that would be great.
That would be, yes. I think a lot of people, if I'm having some symptoms, I think I might, or I want to also curb my diet and plan it according to my body so I don't get diabetes.
Right. I can help you.
Yes, that's great. How does someone get in touch with you?
You can contact me. My number is 949-2275, or you can reach me at my website, which is www.diabetesdoneright, and that's diabetes.diabetes done, D-O-N-E, right, RIGHT.com.
And of course, your book's in the Hawaii Wellness Directory.
Yes.
And you're going to be an author in the upcoming book, 2013 piece, Messages of Peace from Hawaii.
I'm so excited about that. It's going to be a positive message, and it's great for the new year, so I'm excited.
Yes, well, great. Well, thank you for joining us, and
Thank
we
you,
will
Lori.
see you next week. Thanks for coming in. Bye.
Bye.